live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
All right, Knives Out.
Knives Out.
So I was excited to see this one, and I was surprised to see like more than 5 people working at the movie theater here. There were like 10 people wearing Knives Out shirts. I guess they were expecting a big showing.
Yeah, they had one here.
And did a lot of Frozen, people watching Frozen, and what's the other one? Charlie's Angels. A lot of stuff was happening tonight,
it was a very
apparently.
busy night. Yeah.
So I waited in line for a while, and I walked into the Knives Out, and more than half of the crowd was over 70, I think.
You know, I kind of noticed that here, too. Yeah, it was an older crowd. Yeah.
Which I'm fine with, because I like being the youngest one in the crowd. That doesn't bother me. There were a few young people there, but they look like the NPR type, you know what I mean? Like the public television, public radio type. Like, I watch a lot of Poirot, so I have to see this one.
Poirot.
Or Sherlock Holmes.
That's true.
Everybody was awesome in this. Christopher Plummer, I've always loved Christopher Plummer.
I swear, you know, I didn't know what to think of this. When I first saw the ads for it, I know it was like one ad I looked at and I thought, oh, that looks like a really bad Agatha Christie ripoff, you know?
Yeah.
What it was a really good Agatha Christie ripoff.
And then Toni Collette, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen her act like that.
Right.
I'm used to seeing her in horror movies, so this is totally different.
Well, the thing is the dynamic of the group was perfect. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they weren't absolutely hateful, and you could. There was just something about the whole run of it that had just enough little twists in it, you know, and I don't want to put out a spoiler at all, but the last scene, the last shot of the last scene is just amazing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That was
like,
perfect.
Wow, that's really gold.
There was only one flaw that bothered me, which I don't want to say is a spoiler, basically, but she uses a thing to mess with a thing, which really wouldn't mess with a thing.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Actually, I do.
And I know firsthand because I've used those things before.
But other than that, I mean, for moving the plot along, it was a really good version of like an Agatha Christie style whodunit, you know.
And I liked how Daniel Craig was kind of like borderline like insane, but he was able to to make it come across like he was actually intelligent and not crazy.
Didn't you get that feeling that as it was going along that I couldn't tell, and I liked this about him, it was hard to tell whether he was even competent, right?
Yes,
it was hard to tell if everybody was pulling the wool over his eyes or if he was pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. And the thing is I can understand being able to achieve that, but here's the thing, is it kept changing. You know, I mean, my opinion of him kept changing through the film, right? Which was just delightful, you know.
I know, he played it perfectly, and I like how he's like, well, my favorite part was when he was like, enter Mr. Blanc.
Right. Yeah, the way that he didn't take himself seriously was really interesting.
And then you had the two police, the lieutenant and the cop with him that were like, they played off him really well, I thought.
Really well. Don Johnson was actually almost watchable.
Oh, actually, I thought he was good. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, was awesome.
Of course she was awesome. Yeah.
So one thing I like about this is that there's a huge cast, and it's like one of those like movies where that's one thing I was worried about was like, okay, it's an all-star cast, it's gonna suck.
That's and
it's like Clue or something, you know. But they managed to, I guess, only have a few characters in the room at the same time. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Most
think
of the
that
time.
what they did is the pressure of being the star wasn't on any of the established acts. You know, the whole thing was being carried by a very new
Ana de Armas.
a face that you haven't really seen that much, and it gave everybody a chance to kind of play a little bit fast and loose with their characters, and they just did a great job.
Yeah, I was like, there was a moment where Jamie Lee Curtis like made me wet myself. Because I was like, oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Same thing with Daniel Craig, actually. He had some moments that I was like, wow, I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, yeah. All the way through. I was, and I was so prepared because I am not a fan of, I'm not a fan of the classic Agatha Christie whodunits.
Right.
Because they're so formulaic. I mean, you know, to me, the Orient Express, there's 80 versions out there of the Orient Express, and just each one a worse dripping bore than the next, you know.
Well, I only like I like the one Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
But you have to be in the right frame of mind to watch that.
Who's
like ready to have a slow paced, we're going to show you a little tiny bit at a time kind of thing.
Yeah, but you know, it was a Clue, like it was like playing Clue, only it was good.
Well, there's even a line. This is like a house straight out of Clue.
Yeah, it was. Plus, I do think that the house itself was definitely a character in it. I mean, absolutely, one of the characters. It was dressed so interestingly, you know. I mean, it was so over the top.
Right. Yes.
It was so over the top. It had become. It's like if it had been a character in the film, it would have been the lunatic cousin, you know, who literally is in the background of the shot, just walking into the wall. Brink, brink, brink. You know, I mean, it was just so interesting to look at. Going, wow, you know, really, why is that there?
And there wasn't too much humor either. I mean, just like a mild humor, like the youngest son. It's like, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, the youngest son was pretty funny. Didn't you think that the youngest son was going to be more of an involved character than just than the throwaway lines that he really was?
Yeah, exactly.
It's great, but it's great that when you have a film that you can actually introduce a character that's only there for the throwaway lines.
Yeah, you have a point there, actually. Well, I mean, yeah, I kind of felt the same way about that. The one girl that was kind of like her friend.
Oh, right, yeah.
She was kind of just there to only do a couple things, and that was
right,
it.
Right, exactly. And the thing is the status was... The status of how far you had actually seen this character before or this actor before was that was the basis upon which how many throwaway lines you got.
Right. Well, I've seen that guy before, but I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Go. That's exactly it. Oh no, I enjoyed the living hell out of this film. I would put it up at a 4.
Yeah. I don't like how we always agree.
I really hate this. Yeah.
What
I really meant to say is it's a 1 because it was the worst piece of crap I've ever seen in my life.
Maybe I should just go that way, just even if I don't believe it. Well, this director is the guy that did. He did a few episodes of Breaking Bad. He also did episode. What did he do? The Last Jedi.
Right.
Star Wars episode 8. Was it 8? Yeah, it was 8. That would make sense. Because 9 is coming out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I wanted to go into something really quickly that that just kind of blew me away, and you have to tell me if I brought this up on something else. At some other point, did I bring up PlaySafe?
Storytime. Storytime. It's Storytime with Mick. 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 Storytime with Mick.
Play safe.
The Canadian safety commercial.
I don't think you've talked about that yet.
It amazed me that that I could. I did a film that the first thing that I did in Hollywood was I came and helped my sister do the scenic painting on a Canadian safety commercial. And what has surprised me and continued to surprise me is how much I've been getting a hold of people that are Canadian. Anybody that I happen to run across on Facebook that's Canadian, and I ask them if they've seen this commercial, and they go nuts about it. Yeah,
oh, really?
Nuts about that commercial. And I'm like, I am just stunned that so many people know about something. And what I'm really stunned about is that I didn't know anything about it other than I worked on it. I didn't know anything about its, history in with the Canadian people. That so many people, it ran for so long, and it became such a part of the cultural Canadian thing. It's just I'm just still completely blown away by that. Because I just never heard about that commercial again.
Well, what was the commercial?
It was a commercial about it's a Canadian Safety Council, and it's a robot called Astar that goes through. Basically, what we did is we had 4 sets that were like 30 feet long, 30 feet high, and this girl, Allison Brown, I finally remember her name. Allison Brown was dressed like a robot, right? And this is really well done, like ILM. Some of that Richard Edlund started a company called Apogee, and Apogee was the one that was producing this commercial, and it was $5 million in the very early '80s, just for a commercial.
Wow.
And we did 4 of these sets that she fell in front of, and they had gears, and it was supposed to look like they turned the camera on its side, so it looks like she's in slow motion moving through these tubes to these different points inside of this spaceship, right? And there's all these dangerous things like these big gears and different types of saw blades and blades that she goes through that are snapping at each other, and one of them cuts off her arm, and she grabs then you see her reconnecting the arm, and she goes, "My name is Astar. I can put my arm back on. You can't. Play safe."
Well, I'm actually looking at it on YouTube. There's like multiple people have uploaded it.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't
it's
it?
like One has 9,000 views. One has 292,000 views. One has 196,000 views.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, Americans do not know the cultural phenomenon that is Astar.
Wow. Yeah. It aired from 1984 to 1994, apparently, according to Lewis.
Yeah, so this huge and evidently it played in the afternoon with all the comics. So there's all these people that are of that age, in their 30s and 40s, that I asked them, they say, "Oh, Astar, yeah, no, sure, Astar scared the hell out of me. I would never think of doing anything unsafe because of Astar." It's like,
wow,
what? So,
and all I have is the more you know.
Yeah, that's right. And all we get is, the more you know. Dee, dee, dee. Star shooting. Yeah, that's it. That's what we got. I mean, where's our Canadian safety robot?
Right, I don't think we had any safety.
Unbelievable.
I was actually telling my wife the other day, so we were taking my daughter to gymnastics, and we have a small window where she has to change clothes in between.
Right.
And so we wait till we get there, or we have her change before we go from school. And so I was like, well, this is weird, because I remember times when I was my daughter's age 5. I was like, oh, when I was 5, I remember my mom would just throw me my soccer outfit. I would undo the lap belt in our station wagon.
Right, exactly.
And then change my clothes. I'd be lying down, putting my pants on, and she was driving.
Exactly. Didn't even think about it. Right. Just absolutely.
And now we're like, oh, we can't do anything until we stop. So I don't know. It was weird. Well. But yeah, I had a flashback. So we needed more safety videos when I was a kid. All they had was Sesame Street, and they barely covered safety. I think they should have had a Grover running with knives or something.
We're going to be interviewing George C. Romero.
Yes, I can't
wait. His contention is that filming used to be dangerous. That's the name of his company. Is filming used to be dangerous. So
I think it still can be, especially if it's a independent type movie or
if you try hard.
There's no unions involved.
Yeah, if you try hard enough. If you're doing it right, it's like sex. If you're doing it right, it can be dangerous.
It's like that. Really, I remember going to see Bob Hope when I was probably too young to go see Bob Hope, and he was really old at that point. And one of his jokes, the only joke I really remember from the whole stand-up act was, I'm finding sex to be dangerous lately. It's I keep falling off my TV. I'm like, what? It's okay, because he was talking about all the sexy, I don't know, soap operas and stuff.
Exactly. That's a little bit.
But I was like, Bob Hope,
Well,
even when he was on his game, he wasn't the funniest guy.
No, he really wasn't. Not one of my favorites. So anyway, we rated, we came, we conquered.
Yes, I give it a 4.2. I think I didn't officially say that,
but once again.
Don't worry, we'll have one that we disagree on someday.
Someday my prince will come. I'll see you. Bye.
Right. Bye.
I am Astar, a robot. I can put my arm back on. You can't, so play safe.
I am Astar, a robot from Planet Danger. I can put my arm back on. You can't. So play safe.
Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.